أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. I'll see you in a few minutes, inshallah, after some of the brothers some a few minutes ago to our Muslim brothers and sisters before Isha prayer. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. We arrived at this slide before Isha prayer, and we said that Dr. Ibrahim Hariri, he gave us a lecture a few months ago about this, and the point that we arrived at, there is another study by the Economist magazine, which was published on the 18th of this January 2014, that 72% of British people believe that working from home is very efficient, and 63% of them, they need internet access to complete their work. So the main issue that when you leave this lecture today, inshallah, I want you to learn three things. One is, you as a member of your family, whether you're a son or a daughter or a father or a wife, husband and a wife, or a grandparent even if you're a grandparent, what is your role going to be in the next 2 years or 3 years or 5 years or even 10 years? Each one of us is going to play an important role in this community and with our friends to educate them about these things. That nowadays, laptops, mobile phones, they are artificially intelligent machines. Sometimes they can memorize more than a human being, they can process things better than a human being, and they can communicate with so many other different powerful computers and powerful networks, and they gather information to us and bring it back to us very accurate and very thorough within seconds. I'm not even mentioning minutes anymore. The most powerful computer in the world, which started in 1955 to 1965, was from this wall to that wall, and from this wall to that wall, produced by IBM. Now your mobile phone is more powerful than that computer, and more efficient, and more accurate, and more productive, and connected to thousands and thousands of data available, which we mentioned a while ago, how it is collected and how it's being used. Every minute, millions and millions of transactions, information exchange, details, emails, text message, all these are connected in powerful computers, supercomputers in Iceland, in Switzerland, in Scotland, in United States, Korea, all other places, South Africa, and they all network together, and they can give you information back to you on this mobile phone. This is the power now that we have. This is already an artificial intelligent machine that we have in every pocket of us, in every house of us. I asked a while ago, before the rest of you came, I said, do you have an artificial intelligent machine in your home? No one answered back. Then I picked up my mobile phone and I said, this is an artificial machine. This is an artificially intelligent machine that uses artificial intelligence, and you have it in your pocket and it's in your home. So this is that serious, this is affecting your life. You have your bank details, you have your friends' telephone numbers, passwords, emails, homework. My son, I tell him sometimes, let me use your mobile phone for an hour or do something about it. He said, I can't, my homework, all of it is on it. I connect with my school through my mobile. I go to my channels, I go to my websites, I go to my books, I go to my e-books, electronic books, everything through the mobile. So e-learning, electronic learning is already happening. It started 10 years ago, 20 years ago, but now it's even happening to our children from the age of 14, 15, 16. So if we do not direct them correctly, others are going to direct them. Others are going to direct them. So it's very important that we reflect on this holiday, and then from tomorrow, if you can, take them to an exhibition. It's just 15 minutes away from us by underground from here. Queen's Park Station to Houston Square Station, and you get out of it, you go to a company called Arab. They have huge exhibition about artificial intelligence. And I'll show you some of the photos when I visited, and I took some. Tomorrow, please take your children, because the last day is the 23rd of February. And on the 23rd, they will start disconnecting all these gadgets and all these softwares and all these networks. So go before the 23rd of February, and I would advise you to go tomorrow, inshallah, because this is a very important learning process for you and for them, and for your friends and for your relatives, inshallah. Right. And now we'll carry on, and there will be some questions afterwards. Yeah, that's the exhibition. I'll just briefly, quickly guide you through this, inshallah, to make it more exciting. So in this exhibition, this is a small computer frame, very powerful, which process, speed up so many calculations, so many things. And that as well, just 20 years ago, used to be from that wall to that wall, to be able to process, billions and trillions of bytes. Look how small it is now. Okay? This desk has sensors, which I'll show you now. This desk has sensors. It sees how comfortable you are. It goes up and down, and it senses your temperature, your heat, your blood pressure, everything about you, how much you're sweating, how much you're comfortable, and it will change the air conditioning system above you and underneath you, so it saves energy. So not necessarily the whole building has to be cold or warm. So only the air conditioning works above you or underneath you. This is what these desks are about, and they collect information about your behavior now. This is happening, this is real. This is a company called Arab, this exhibition, which you can visit, as I said, tomorrow. These are sensors. These sensors, when you work in that company, which is like 7,000, because there are two buildings, they come and they gather information, they collect information in an artificial intelligent way about their project, about what they need to use from the network. So as you can see as well, there are dots on the ground, okay, and where you stand. So they read already, they know your face, they have recognized your face. As we said, part of artificial intelligence, as you read the definition a few minutes ago, is to do with being able to identify, to recognize faces, objects, the way you walk, the way you speak. That's how every one of us now is being recognized, and data is collected about them. Even when we go into the shop, the way we turn, the way we look at items, the way we enjoy looking at items, it's being recorded about us and sent to us by email. Specific product, specific issue that we like or we don't like, or if we like too much lighting or less lighting. There's so many information being collected about us, and they're using it, those companies and hospitals, to treat us in a better way. All right? So they are pushing those skills, this technology, in every direction. So the sooner the better that you familiarize yourself with it, and your children. And this is knowledge, this is very beneficial knowledge, very important knowledge. So anyway, quickly I'll talk about these sensors. These sensors, they know what kind of person you are in that company, and they know what type of projects you're working on, and what's your specialty, and what's your qualifications, and your history, and they will show a red light, and they guide you to go to that stand and come and collect information from us and dig out information about that project or that specific information. So this is part of the experience that you will get. I'll show you some of the slides now. This one, the specific screen, you touch, all right? When you touch the screen, you go to the manufacturer. So if you're manufacturing an airplane, a motorbike, a car, you can get every item. You press, you know who's the manufacturer, and you can rotate the item, and I'll show you now in a few minutes. You can rotate with your fingers the items on this screen, and you rotate it, and you check the size of the dimensions. You can even press the dimensions on some of the buttons, and tells you the specifications, and then you can order it and put it in your project or not. This kind of work, it used to take 2 weeks to do, and now people in this company do it in 5 seconds. They specify any pipe in the building, any motor, any cable, any furniture, any shelf, any wardrobe, any sink, any item in the construction industry. From 5 seconds by just getting access to the manufacturers from that screen. So this shows you how intelligent these machines are becoming, and how useful, and how they're saving time, energy, and space. Now, and I'll show you some of the photos of some of the, okay, this one. So, it says the ANBI research shows that many people feel cold upon walking in a room with air conditioning. ANBI user profiles with highly granular behavior could inform the design and operations of other buildings. So, your carbon emission, which has to be reduced, your company will have to pay a lot of taxation if you spend and use a lot of carbon emission. So companies now, they're gonna allow the Internet of Things, sensors, all these sensors, to communicate with you and find out information about your body and your behavior and your temperature, all right? And this can be put even in corridors or in your pocket or anywhere, you know, around your desk. That's another camera which you can put it inside your office or home, and you are in Canada or America or South Africa. If you see somebody outside your house, you don't know them, you don't like them, you can allow the alarm to turn on, and the police will come and check who's at the door if there's an intruder. So you can communicate with your mobile phone from your holiday and tell your curtain and tell your lights and tell your camera everything to give you information and detect what's happening inside your home. And this is as well that. Yeah, that's another item about an app which you put on your mobile phone. As we say now, applications, jobs in producing applications, writing applications, they're going to become more popular and more useful, and you will be earning thousands and thousands, like 70,000, 80,000 pounds when you write apps for any company or any customer. So this one's called Comfy. You can go on the internet and download it and find out about your comfort, and it's already used in Singapore, India, and other places and other countries in the world. And please go to that exhibition and test it. You can test it yourself tomorrow when you go to the exhibition. There you are as well. You have smart speakers and home assistants. Many of my colleagues, they already have them. They speak to them. What's the weather today? What is it in Manchester? What's happening in Birmingham? What is the the temperature in Scotland, Edinburgh? This robot will tell you and will connect you with anywhere in the world. That gives you data that is already available. The same thing about the financial market, the same thing about getting the nearest Uber car, the same thing about the book, whether it's available in this specific library or that library that you want to go and borrow. And more gadget, as you can see, by Amazon. And this is 2014, already in use in people's homes and offices since 2014. So although some of the items I said they're going to be in the market, or you're going to communicate with them in the next 5 years or 10 years, some of them already happening and already being used in our homes and in our Right. Okay, so this is my son. As you can see, he has started to communicate with the screen, and he pressed on some of the brackets that the suppliers and manufacturer provide, and he is manipulating them, and he's pressing on the dimension, and he chose a nut and a bracket, and just quickly, briefly, he picked up one and he rotated it. This one is about neural network. Now, this specific artificial intelligence example, I worked on it in 2008 in this country, in 2007. And now it's becoming everywhere. Most offices now, they use it. They use neural networks. Not anymore 01, 011, simple binaries, Now, this is a very sophisticated, intelligent computer, can do things which human beings cannot do. Can calculate things and can draw shapes and can work out geometry that we cannot work out. I'm an architect. I've been working in the construction industry. There is some stuff that this plugin or this plugin or this plugin at the neural network can do drawings and work out geometrical shapes, which if I want to calculate by hand or even by normal calculator, it will take me 5 days. This artificial intelligence software and machine, the computer and the plugins that is being used, can do it in seconds. And I'll show you the robots now, which was being moved in the exhibition. And you will see that when you visit the exhibition as well. The software called Grasshopper, I started using it in 2007, 2008. And now, maybe kids in schools and universities, they do use it better than me because they use it every day, or they have to use it every day. And by the way, if in your school or university they don't teach you these things, that means they're not following the national curriculum. Now in this country, from year 1, we have to teach our children coding in schools. So if in your school, they don't teach them coding, algorithmic coding, and using software like Python or software called Berkeley or other ones, Kodu. So either Kodu or Python or Berkeley, that means that school is not following the national curriculum of this country. So it's already now a must for schools to teach coding, algorithmic coding, and to help our children do these connections and use artificial intelligence softwares and packaging. So I'll try to speed up because I don't want to delay you. All right, because I want to go to the jobs. So important changes, most threatened and new jobs. Okay, now briefly, I've just picked up 5 points that are going to be serious challenges for our future. All right? So like basically, they tell you, oh, be good at English, be good at math, be good at science. Well, I'll be honest with you, now these subjects are more serious than English and math and science. So study math and science, but tell yourself and your children that they have to familiarize themselves very seriously with these 5 issues or 5 subjects. So the first one, everybody knows, the internet and its branches like intranet and Internet of Things. Now, artificial intelligence, I've just briefly said how it developed from 1955 until 2005, then 2015 and 2016, how the mobile phone and its applications, they are becoming so powerful and they're becoming sort of more useful, and they connect us to very powerful universities and very powerful companies, much better than all the previous years that passed by. Number 3, communication. You have to be aware that communication is becoming very crucial in your future, in your daily life, but also in the future. Intranet is used between companies, okay, and hospitals and clinics and the people of the same profession and the institution, for example. Internet, we know what it is. Mobile phones, we know what it is. Internet of Things. Now, on desks, they're putting sensors. So they know what time you're leaving your desk and what time you're using your desk, how much you move your desk. The same thing with the chair. They're putting sensors on chairs. And I'll show you now. I've taken some photos and I'll show you. All these sensors now, They're gathering information about you, how efficient you are, how much money you spend, how healthy you are, how fit, which shops do you go into, what items do you like, and so on and so forth, and what is your lifestyle. Also regarding communication, as we know, there is Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and FC. And there are 10 others, which I'm not going to mention now because it's going to become too much for us to memorize or to grab. Okay? But I want you to familiarize yourself. So basically, when you go home today or tomorrow, you go to the shop or you go to any, whether Amazon or any company online, buy a dictionary or thesaurus that teach you about these words and help you understand what they mean. Because this is the English language now, it's becoming a must for us to learn. As soon as you go to an interview or you read an application form, I'll show you now some of the application forms, how many of these words are being used, and half of our children, believe me, they have no clue now about. And probably their teachers, they don't have a clue about. But this is what companies are asking for. So we have to open our eyes and our ears and see what are we investing in our children. So say my son, my daughter, instead of spending 3 hours on PlayStation, 2 hours on WhatsApp, and 2 hours on videos and silly stuff, come and teach me these words. Come, let's learn these words. Let's find out what is Python. Let's find out what's Berkeley. Or let's find out what is NFC, and so on and so forth. Because this is for your career prospects, and my career prospect is very important. Virtual and augmented reality. Virtual and augmented reality. Now we can design and construct any building, any hospital, any office block, and see everything how it's being put together before we even bring the contractor to the site. So we see where the clash is happening, we see where the mistakes, where the pipes are hitting the beams, the columns, where there's that diagonal bracing, hitting a wall or hitting a door or a window, or things are not performing well, or if the spaces are too dark or too bright, and so on. Virtual and augmented reality are very important. Also, if I'm putting together engine, the Rolls-Royce engine or the motorbike engine, I can put it together virtually. I can put it virtually through HoloLens and through Project Tango and through other softwares that will help me speed up approval by the client. So if I'm more efficient, the client is going to come to me. He's not going to go to my competitors. See? So that is another issue that affects your virtual augmented reality. Also, when I'm doing an operation, because the robot is helping me in doing operation on a kidney or a liver. So if I use augmented reality and virtual reality, I can do the operation there before I go to the real one. So when I go to the operation, that means this is the second time I'm doing it on the same person. So they scan the person, they do virtual and augmented reality about the body of that person, and the sounds do everything, and they do virtually the operation, then they do the real one on him the second day. Okay, so that is very important in hospital jobs and medical jobs and so on. Electronic learning, we all know about it, but it's just that it's important to discuss it this holiday, with your kids and see whether they're going to the right blogs and whether they are interested in online learning or distance learning. So these are challenges that we have to deal with very soon, and we have to discuss with our children. We cannot throw them on the table or under the carpet. Right. Okay. So the most threatened jobs in the next 5 to 10 years. All right. So the first one is drivers, pilots, and the car mechanics and flight engineers. Okay. Because robots, they're going to be manufacturing the cars and the aeroplanes, and they're going to be driven by robots. So the cars will have sensors, and the aeroplane will have sensors, and the cars and the aeroplanes will have only passengers. No more drivers, no more pilots, because it's going to be more safer and much safer to allow it to be operated by robots and artificial intelligence robots. Remember? Next one. So many jobs in non-renewable energy will be lost. All right? All these refineries, all these gas, and they're going to be operated by robots. Everything, all digging out mines, and the drones will be surveying them, and the sensors, and all these are going to be done by robots and drones. And no more workers are needed in getting gas and getting oil out of the land and distributing them. Even the lorries will be driving, will be driverless lorries. So this shows you that the tankers, will be sorted out by robots as well. Next one, postman and delivery. No more postman jobs, no more delivery of motorbikes, all going to be done by drones, and robots which walk on the pavement. It's already happening in Yorkshire and other places. Inshallah. Already, many elderly homes, many elderly people who live in villages, a robot with a flag will deliver the food and the daily hot meals from the care homes to the homes and to the places. So postman and delivery will go. Farmers as well, they're losing their jobs. Translators and interpreters, and publishers and printing workers. Now, as I said, the book is online, is much cheaper, and also, alhamdulillah, also it helps the publisher to read you, to find out about you, how much you like this book, which paragraphs you hate, which paragraph you're reading and you're enjoying and you're discussing with others. So they tell the author that they like that page of your book, or they don't like that page, and they're skipping through it, or they're reading it properly and enjoying it and being referred. So the book will be reading you, not only you reading books. So that's why publishers and printing workers, they will disappear, because no more paper books. Rarely will find paper books, maybe in schools up to year 5 or year 6. Other jobs to go, translators and publishers, we said, jewelry manufacturers. Now, the robots are producing the most beautiful rings and necklace and so on and so forth. The designers and the manufacturers, they used to be paid a lot of money, like 10% of the value of that piece of jewelry. Now they're going to pay the robot peanuts money to do that job. So jewelry designers and manufacturers will disappear. The same thing, radio and TV presenters. Sophie, as we all know, is the new robot. They're trying her, and they are using others in terms of gathering information. So the new journalists will be robots. GPs and lab technicians in the medical profession. So basically, one GP will control 10 robots to check about his patients, and the same thing with the sensors and the labs, even diseases. We can now identify how diseases even are spreading between one country to the other country. And we can simulate and we can do algorithmic formulas to discover where's the likelihood of the next day or next week or next month where that disease is going to appear and how the virus is going to move. And because they also use software that study the swarmanoids of all these birds and how they pick up disease and they move it with them, and the fish as well, how they move, around Earth, and the birds. So all these things, they are being studied, and they feed into huge neural networks and they produce information. Now the other thing is that lawyers and solicitors who do repetitive and straightforward and uncomplicated cases, they're going to disappear as well. Slowly they'll decrease in the next 5 years, 3 years, but within 10 years, they're going to disappear. So if you are going to study to become a lawyer, you have to decide why you're becoming a lawyer. Are you going to specialize? Are you going to deal with special cases, or are you just going to become general lawyer? If you're going to become just general lawyer or solicitor, forget it. You have to be very specialist. I'll talk about the specialist jobs which come later on, because we need lawyers between robots and customers. We need lawyers to deal with other issues. I'll show you the next slide. Designers and construction workers, the same thing. Travel and holiday agents, estate agents, and all these kind of marketing and sales and cold callers, they will disappear as well. And the manufacturers and fabricators of even toys and furniture. I used to think only bathrooms and kitchens that they're gonna be affected, but even Toys R Us and these kind of companies, they are laying off staff, and in the factories they're laying off staff because now the robots are producing and manufacturing and selling online all these new toys which kids want. and because of the PlayStation, and because of all these digital and computerized toys that have coding, they're becoming more popular. Bankers, accountants, and exchange workers will disappear, and security officers, because the cybersecurity is going to be the main problem, and these ordinary security officers, they don't know how to deal with cybersecurity, so they will be useless. And the CCTV now cameras, with their softwares, they can realize you with the way you walk, the way you look, and recognize your face, and know wherever you were traveling in London, whichever building you visited, and they will gather that information and give it to the police or to the judge, and then they will say you were in that place, and that place, and that place. End of story. So we don't even need to employ security officer anymore. Right, so all these jobs will be lost, and there are branches, and there are more, but this is just an example, okay? Now, some of them already being reduced. So don't say, oh, maybe this guy is talking the next 2 years or 3 years or 5 years. Believe me, some of them even disappeared from 2008 and never come back. Many people who lost their job 2008, they could not even get a job because they have been replaced by an engineer who's using software and robots and artificial intelligence gadgets, and he's doing the job better than, in my field, like rendering, designing, and doing so many things, you leave the computer do the work overnight, the following day you come with 20 images and animated videos, and the job is done. So all these people who used to do perspective, we used to pay them £700, £800 for every image. Now we don't need to, because the computer is doing it overnight, and we collected the following day. The computer gave us 10 videos, and the computer gave us 20 images, all that for the price of £1,000. So before you had to pay £8,000 or £20,000 for these images, now you pay £1,000 for 20 different images and animated, and they're much better quality with V-Ray, rendering, and so on and so forth. Right. Okay, so yeah, new jobs. Now, for this one, I need to really stand and quickly go through them and tell you. Cybersecurity, I put it as the first one because already for the last 3 years, every company director, the first thing when he meets other company directors or the board of directors in his company, he talks every time, every meeting, whether weekly or monthly, about cybersecurity and how to protect their company and their computers and their data from the hackers and the fraudsters. This is the biggest problem, has been for the last 20 years, and it's getting worse. And this is a very, really safe job to get into. No matter how clever you are, or slow, or fast, or no matter how bad